Hi, it's Care. I'm Care Posick, and I want to share with you some of the things that can speed up your wellness journey. I call them the 7 healers. I know everybody would love to have just one thing they could do that would make everything well, but I've only found 7, and I've been involved with natural healing and energy medicine for, well over 40 years. And these are simple things, but sometimes we miss them. I'd like you to get a pen and paper and write them down because you might want to keep score as to how you're doing on these 7 things. The journey to wellness is not quick, but it depends on what I call the allopathic load that you're dealing with and the 7 healers. And I'm sure you're saying, okay, so what's the allopathic load? The allopathic load includes the toxins, the injuries, the deficiencies, and the stress that your body has accumulated and had to deal with. And so that's the load of issues that you're asking your body to deal with in this wellness journey. So you start there with your allopathic load, and then let's look at those 7 healers. The very first one, you can't live without air for more than a few minutes at a time. But yet, my gosh, so many people don't breathe enough. And I know that sounds funny that people don't breathe, but it's really true. So how about you? One of the very first things I used to teach people in my stress management training and in all the different practices that I ran was how to breathe properly. And so let's all just take a really deep breath right now. Just take a deep, really slow breath. Put your hands on your belly. And as you inhale, did your belly rise? Exhale. Did your belly go back in? What a lot of people do is when they take a deep breath, they go, and that's only getting air down through half the lungs. You need to get it clear to the bottom of your lungs. So a deep breath actually moves the diaphragm and moves the entire belly, and the chest stays still. How many times have you heard somebody say, calm down, go take a deep breath? Well, you want to do more than one, but a deep, slow breath, 5 or 10 or 20, can make all the difference in the world. Breathing oxygenates your brain so you can think better. Breathing oxygenates your cells so everything begins working at a better rate. So when you're stressed and you hold your breath, which is what almost everybody does, it only makes your body less efficient, less effective. So breathing is number 1 on my list of the 7 healers. Take some time specifically and sit down and just breathe, or go out in nature and just walk around and take 20 deep breaths. When you're feeling stressed or foggy or grumpy, get some oxygen in your brain and in your cells. Do some nice, slow, deep breathing. I used to run a yoga school, and I found a book that was written by a yogi years and years and years ago, and it was like 108 different types of breathing exercises. Yeah. There are breathing exercises for everything you can think of, including relaxing or energizing or getting more flow into your liver. I mean, breath is so important, and it's the number 1 healer. So be conscious of your breathing. Take some nice, slow, deep breaths and see what that does in your body. It's pretty amazing. So the second one is water. It is a healer. You can't go without water for very long either. And it's amazing to me how many people say to me, oh, I don't like water, I don't drink water. Oh my gosh. We are mostly water. And if we're not taking in good, clean water, we're not flushing out the old metabolic wastes and toxins that accumulate. And our body has a hard time flushing them anyway because we're so overloaded. I mean, we have toxins in our air, in our food, in our water. There's no escaping it. So it's really important to drink good, clean water. And I don't mean tap water. Tap water is so filled with chemicals and toxins that you just really stay away from tap water. Buy some good spring water. Get yourself a good filter. Do the best you can as far as water goes. I mean, I could do an entire lecture on, types of water, but that's for another time. Alkaline water is really good too, but not all the time. You don't want to drink alkaline water when you're eating. And that's one of the biggest problems with the alkaline filters is, you kind of start drinking this really high alkaline water all the time, and it can throw off your digestion in terms of, you need acid in your stomach to digest things. So, but you just want some really nice, clean water to drink. And one of the first signs of dehydration is hunger. So many people misjudge when they are thirsty and they think they're hungry, and then they eat something like crackers, or something solid that's just going to suck up even more water. But it's the first sign. We are so dehydrated that we misjudge the signs. Another sign of being dehydrated is being grumpy. So if you find yourself being grumpy, just, drink some water. How much water? I have heard, and this is what I pretty much go by, half your body weight in ounces in water a day. Are you drinking that much? Most people are not. And it takes some real conscious effort to do that. My mom had a really good trick back when we drank tap water, which was, 50, 60 years ago. I'm 68. She would take 8 pennies and she'd lay them on one side of the sink. And every time she took a glass of water, she'd move it to the other side. So by the end of the day, she had drunk her 8, or at least she had kept track of it. So, that's a really good way to do it. Just don't drink tap water. So that's my second healer. How much water are you drinking? It is very important. It is very important. So I do have a blog on infused water. My daughter Jen will put it in in the comments here, so you could go read it if you want. Some people say, I don't like the taste of water. Well, it's because our water's not good. But you can put in fruit, lemon, strawberries. You can infuse your water with things that make it taste better, and then also give it a little bit more nutrients and make it pretty. So, you can read my blog on that. So, there's air and there's water. The third one is sleep. I can't tell you how many people tell me they just do not sleep well. And, your body heals when you're sleeping. It is so important. So if you're not sleeping, don't just take something to make you go to sleep. Figure out what's keeping you up and prepare for sleep. Very few people just lay their head down on the pillow and go sound asleep. But what is it that you're doing right before you go to sleep? Or what is it you're doing that's keeping you up? Are you eating really late at night? Do you watch television until you fall asleep? Do you have electronics? Do you keep your phone by your bed and your computer? What's all the electronic noise that's going on in your bedroom too? Prepare for sleep. Take a nice hot bath and bubbles and candles. Take an Epsom salt bath, which helps to pull out toxic waste and helps relax your muscles. And it also fuels your muscles with magnesium so that they can relax and feel comfortable. Make your space clean and dark. So many people don't realize, but light in your room will disturb the circadian rhythm. And that's so important. So look at if you're not sleeping well, look at your sleep space. Look at your pattern of sleeping. You know, I've heard that according to the circadian rhythm, we really should be in bed by 10 o'clock. And I don't do that either, but it's a good thing if you have a hard time sleeping to establish some really good sleep patterns and then stick with it. So, sleep. Air, water, sleep. The three important healers. And I put these pretty much in order. Well, maybe not. But the next one is diet. And I don't mean diet, I mean food. What are you eating? It's so hard. I mean, you go to a grocery store and 90% of the grocery store is packaged things that are filled with toxins and chemicals and stuff that you really shouldn't be putting in your body because it puts more of an allopathic load on your body. You know, you should really only shop in the outer aisles of your grocery store, you know, where they have the fruits and the vegetables and the nuts, and that's pretty much 90% or 80% of your diet should really be from plants. And let me ask you this. Do you know how many fruits and vegetables you should be eating a day? Take a guess. Let me hear you. For women, it's 5. For men, it's 7. Actually, I'm thinking it should be more than that. It should be more like 7 and 9. How many of you eat 7 pieces of fruit or vegetables or 7 servings a day? Can you even remember what fruits and vegetables you had yesterday? I mean, this is where, if you're deficient, you need to eat more fruits and vegetables. That's where the good nutrition comes from, fruits and vegetables, and as organic as you can get them. And then nuts and seeds, and 80% really, if you want to have the healthiest diet, should be coming from things directly out of the earth. And then most of you know what my very favorite food is, and it is an heirloom 2,000-year-old micronized purple rice powder grown in Thailand. This is a recently rediscovered heirloom food. It's never been messed with. No, never been messed with. It's grown in soils that have never had chemicals or GMOs or pesticides. And then what they do is they take out just the nutrients. So you get from 60 pounds of rice, they get only 1 pound of the nutrients. And then they take that and mill it to the size of a micron so that it's so tiny it can get right in through the membranes of your gums, cheeks, throat, esophagus, stomach. The reason this is so important in my diet, and this is a new finding for me within the last 2 years, and it saved my husband's life and has absolutely transformed my health and thousands of others. I was reading in a medical school journal that said today more than 85% of the population is insulin resistant at some level. What that really means is our cells have become resistant, hardened, damaged, so that when you eat the best diet and take the best supplements, most of it is not getting in to fuel the cells. I have an old Chinese medical doctor friend who says, oh, Americans have the most expensive urine in the world. And I think it's true, because you take so much stuff that just doesn't get into your cells. We spend a fortune on it. I mean, I'm sure you're nodding your heads. Yeah, you spent a fortune on stuff that you thought was going to work and make you healthier, and it just didn't do much except to add more to that allopathic load. The reason this micronized rice works is it's so concentrated and perfect food, and it's so tiny that it can get right in through the cell membrane and fuel the cells so that they can recharge, repair, and regenerate. So in my 40 years in natural healing and energy medicine, this is my favorite thing that I've ever found, because it works like food is supposed to work, and it anti-ages the cells. So, but there's not just one of these things. I mean, if you if you just eat that and everything else of these 7 healers is off, you're not going to get the kind of results that you're going to get if you're doing all of these good things on your wellness journey. So then the next one is play. Play is so important for children, but it is equally important, and maybe even more so, for adults, because we are filled with stress. Our lives are filled with stress, and our lives are filled with toxins which stress us. So play, a lot of people call that exercise, but I think play is much more important, because exercise sounds like work and play sounds like fun. So how do you play? What do you play? I think dancing is one of the best forms of play, because it exercises you, it oxygenates you, and it feels good, and it's fun. I love to swim. For me, that's play. I ride my bicycle. For me, that's play. I'm not one to spend an hour here, 7 days a week in a gym. That's not play for me, that's work. So, and for most people, a lot of people enjoy it, but there's a lot of people out there that don't, and I'm one of those. I think playing is much better for me, and it keeps me more active. So what are you doing to play? What are you doing for exercise? That old saying, use it or lose it? I think that's true. So how are you using it? So the next one is very important as well. Relationships. How are your relationships? Do you have a large group of friends and family that you have loving, supporting relationships with, or are you a loner? I read a really interesting statistic. 75 is the average age of a married man when he dies. 57 is an average age of a man who is not married, a single man, when he dies. That sure says a lot about relationships to me. So how are your relationships? And if you're saying, well, geez, I don't have that many, or think of who you just really wonder about and call them. Find out how they're doing. Reestablish relationships. That support system is critical in your healthy wellness journey. And then there's one more. Oh, Becky just said something here. Playing is a state of mind. What some call work, I call play and peace. Yay, Becky. I agree. And we're on number 7. And number 7 is maybe the very most important. What is your purpose? Do you know what your purpose is? What is your reason for being? And if you regain your health, what are you going to do with it? Everybody is here for a reason. You are so special. You are a gift. And you have gifts. What are they? What are you sharing? What is your purpose? And if you're looking to gain health or regain your health, if you don't have the purpose behind it motivating you, it's very easy to fall back on that binge eating or sitting in front of the television rather than riding your bicycle, or just being stressed and not breathing and forgetting about drinking water and all of those things. What is your purpose? I think one thing that you can do right now is you could ask yourself some very important questions. What are the 3 things that you could do better? What are the 3 things you know you shouldn't be doing? Be honest. And now, what are you going to do about it? I hope you're keeping track. I hope you made a list. Look at them. Stick them on your refrigerator. Have them really be at the forefront of your mind so that you can really do everything in your power to speed up this wellness journey. Take some deep breaths. Drink good water. Get some good sleep. Eat a very good diet, including my micronized purple rice. Play hard. Spend time with your friends and your family. And really concentrate. Really meditate on your purpose. And then do what's needed to get you there. Blessings for your health, my friends. Thank you for your time. I'd love to hear your comments and your questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. And I just hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful life and an amazing journey back to wellness.